சார் 2 பேர் வெயிட்டிங் ரூம்ல இருக்காங்க சார்.
எனேபிள் பண்ணிட்டேன். Shall we start, sir? Ramesh Kumar, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Good evening to one and all present here. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all for this webinar on Next Step 2021, a career guidance for bio and chemical sciences, organized by the School of Bio and Chemical Engineering, Satyabama Institute of Science and Technology, Chennai. I extend a very warm welcome our Pro Vice Chancellor, Dr. Wilson Aruni. Welcome, sir. My hearty welcome to Dr. Ramesh Kumar, Associate Professor, Head, Department of Biotechnology. Welcome, sir. I am glad to welcome Dr. Daniel Alex Anand, Associate Professor, Department of Bioinformatics and Data Science. Welcome, sir. I also welcome Dr. Sudhakar, Associate Professor, Head, Department of Biomedical Engineering, and Dr. Satish Kumar, Associate Professor, Head, Department of Chemical Engineering. I wholeheartedly welcome all our staff members, School of Bio and Chemical Engineering, Satyabama Institute of Science and Technology. A special welcome to the students and their parents who are connected with us virtually for this webinar. Once again, I welcome you all. Thank you. Now I call upon our student organizer, Ms. Swati, to introduce our Pro Vice Chancellor, Dr. Virnia Aruni Wilson.
Thank you, sir, for inviting me. I'd like to sincerely welcome our Pro Vice Chancellor, Dr. Wilson Aruni, sir. Let me give you a brief introduction about Dr. Wilson Aruni, sir. Dr. Wilson Aruni, PhD, FAMPV, Pro Vice Chancellor of Satyabama Institute of Science and Technology. Dr. Wilson Aruni, sir, has taken up the position of Pro Vice Chancellor, Satyabama Institute of Science and Technology, Chennai, on sabbatical leave from Professor, Department of Microbiology, Infectious Diseases and Global Health, California University of Science and Medicine, Loma Linda, USA. Principal Scientist, U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs, Loma Linda, CA, USA. Adjunct Professor, Stem Cell Core Facility, University of California, Riverside, USA. He has been involved in active teaching and research for a period of 24 years. His expertise in the field of bioinformatics and nanovaccine delivery system. He is also currently serving as a member of National Institutes of Health Grant Review Study Sections, serving as a member of the Grant Review Panel on Vaccine Research Initiative Grants, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and a current grant member review panel of Medical Research Council and BBSRC UK. I heartily welcome Dr. V. Ramesh Kumar sir to talk about opportunities in biotechnology. Before he begins, I'd like to give you an introduction about Dr. V. Ramesh Kumar sir. Dr. V. Ramesh Kumar, MPhil PhD, Head of the Department, Associate Professor, Department of Biotechnology. Dr. V. Ramesh Kumar sir has joined Satyabama Institute of Science and Technology as a lecturer in September 2007. He had completed his PhD in plant biology and plant biotechnology from Bharatdasan University in 2012. His research interest includes biodiesel from microalgae, stress biology, and microRNA studies. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Swati. Thank you, Dr. Prakash. So let me share my screen. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, sir.
So at the outset, I would like to thank our management for permitting us to conduct this awareness program on the various biosciences that is present in Satyabama Institute of Science and Technology. And we would be happy to take up questions, if any, from the student participants about the course and about the various courses in the institute, and other questions that they might have on what to do next. So evidently the program is named as the Next Step 2021. So talking about biotechnology at the outset. So initial days of biotechnology were dealing with the DNA, proteins, and people were looking into biotechnology as a field where they study about the internals of cellular organelles. So I hope all the 12th standard students, you might have studied about biology, biotechnology in your school days. So moving on from there, we have this biotechnology to preserve the environment. So that is where biotechnology gained more of importance. If you look into the early days of biotechnology, you can see a lot of biotechnologists working on environmental solutions or environmental problems and their solutions. So they were much concerned about the products that were available in the plants and how these products were being used and how we can provide a sustainable environment. That is where biotechnology was trying to touch mankind. Slowly, we have evolved, we have come far off into a place wherein we took up these plants and we were able to grow these plants in our own lab. So that is where we have evolved from the environment to the lab. So all the plants that were available outside in niche areas were brought inside the laboratory, and we were able to grow them using tissue culture techniques. So this helped the preserving rare species of plants which were available in far off places like Himalayas, the Western Ghats, and these plants were available in every biotechnology laboratory. So that was one of the key achievements of biotechnology. That is how biotechnology started to touch more of mankind. Sooner or later, this also went on into the field of animal sciences, wherein the study of animal stem cell therapy or animal cell lines led to a new field of animal biotechnology. So what biotechnologists ventured into was into animal biotechnology. They were looking into how stem cells can be manipulated, how stem cells can be used, how the field of regenerative medicine can be evolved. So this is where biotechnology gained much of importance. And of late, you could have heard that even the Veterinary Sciences College was coming up with a successful therapy, stem cell therapy for a dog, wherein they were able to cure the dog's spinal cord injury completely. So we are moving leaps and bounds in the field of animal biotechnology. And whenever we think of biotechnology, it's from moving from the laboratory to the industry. So that bioprocess technologies, we have a lot of bioprocess or bioprocess compounds, starting from the yogurt to the alcohol industry to the any fermentation product industry survives with the help of biotechnology. So everywhere it's all about the biotechnological compounds. It's about the species that is involved in it. With all of these getting a very good support through mankind, now we are in a situation wherein we are addressing niche problems where we are answering genetic disorders. See, some of the key aspects of mankind is that we were not able to cure genetic disorders. So if there is a disease, new kind of a disease or ailment, then probably people were able to find out drugs, they were able to cure them. But then genetic disorders were a very big trouble. So in order to address this issue, today we have a new field of biotechnology emerging, which is called as gene editing process, wherein we are able to edit these genes or we are able to modify these genes in such a way that even genetic disorders can be cured. So that is where biotechnology, starting off with the study of DNA, went into environment, touched upon the plant cells, the animal cells, the industries, and slowly it has moved into the healthcare industry also. So this is what biotechnology stands. It's a small history about how we have evolved through these years in the field of biotechnology. Now, what would be the future of biotechnology? So this is a small slide which will be telling you about what are the different areas of biotechnology and how the biotechnology startups, there are somewhere around 600 plus startups which have been analyzed, and they have found out that in 2020 alone, the global biotechnology market has reached 513 billion euro size. So it's almost like 513 euros, billion euros of size. So you can see from this slide that it has touched different areas, like the field of biosensors, wearable electronics. We have a lot of these wearable watches nowadays. Now everyone during this COVID time, we know about these wearable oxygen pulse oximeters. So all these biosensors. We have big data analytics. Everybody looks into the TV. They look for statistics about COVID and other things. So big data analytics, and we have nanomedicine, nanobots, nano-sized robots, which have the ability to get into your blood and perform microsurgeries. We have a field of synthetic biology and metabolic engineering, wherein we are designing organisms. So this is like playing God. So this is going to be the future of biotechnology. So gone are the days when we manipulated existing organisms. So the future is going to be synthesizing new organisms. So that is where we are into. And more so, what we are trying to do is we are also trying to alter metabolic pathways, thereby leading to much environment-friendly organisms, at the same time promoting sustainable development. Although we have various other fields like tissue engineering and 3D bioprinting, gene editing, which are niche areas of biotechnology, it's all with the help of computers, technology, that biotechnology is moving forward. So this is what is the future of biotechnology. And what are the major thrust areas of the department that we push? We specialize in nanobiotechnology, marine and aquaculture, biofuels, biofertilizers and food technology, bioremediation methods, ethnomedicine, healthcare. We have facilities to do research in all these thrust areas. So the department is versatile in doing research in all these thrust areas. So if you look into any engineering college, they'll be having a specialty. So why should you study biotechnology in Satyabama? So why not biotechnology in some other place? So when you study biotechnology in Satyabama, we concentrate on three important areas. One is healthcare and environment. So they are closely knitted together. Healthcare, a very good healthcare comes from a very good environment. So how do we promote a very good healthcare facility? And how do we promote a very good environment? So this is one area that we, a department, biotechnology department, Satyabama, we specialize on. The other thing is the two animal tissue culture and plant tissue culture techniques that lead to novel plants or manipulations in plants and animals. So this is one of our own specialty. We have a very good laboratory for this. And that is another specialty of why Satyabama, biotechnology in Satyabama is so very good. The other area which is our strong foothold is bioprocess engineering. We look forward, or we have a specialized laboratory in bioprocess, and with all the fermentation techniques, we specialize our students in the fermentation process. So these are the three areas in which our students will be made much more versatile. So the next big question that everybody has once they finish their 12th standard is, what is the scope of biotechnology? So whenever we say the scope, what after biotechnology? What will I do after I finish biotechnology? So there are three possibilities. See, you do any degree, there are three possibilities. One is we look for placements. The other one is we look in for higher studies, or else we look in for entrepreneurship or having our own startup. These are the three different possibilities that will be coming to us once we finish any degree. So how we help you in this process is what I'll be telling you. So for people who would like to get into higher studies, so higher studies in India demands that you have GATE as a qualification. So you can go in for MTech in biotechnology, MTech in food technology, MTech in industrial biotechnology. A lot of different biotechnologies are available. So for all these, GATE forms the basis, GATE exam. So in Satyabama, we train you for GATE exam along with your academics. We have a specialized cell, a cell for higher studies. A separate dean is involved there. So they will be helping you with preparing for GATE exam. So this is one of our specialty. You need not go away from the academics, or you need not go separately to study something about GATE and get yourself qualified. So that's how we help you in the campus itself. So if you are planning to go abroad, then the next hurdle comes is what you face will be learning these foreign languages. For example, French, Japanese, and German. These are languages which are commonly learned by students, young students, so that their opportunities in Europe and Japan increase. So all these foreign language courses will be conducted in the campus itself. So we train you along with the academics. We give you training in any of these foreign languages according to your wish. So this is one thing that is available in the campus itself. So after finishing a foreign language course, the major constraint that people have when they go abroad is the TOEFL exam, GRE, or IELTS exam. So preparation for TOEFL, GRE, and IELTS also can be done inside the campus. So there are specialized courses for that. And this will lead to possibilities of gaining a master's degree in US. Some people even go in for a PhD in US, direct PhD. So with funding. So we have some of our students who have gone to US with the full funding for their PhD program itself. And the opportunities in Europe and Australia are also immense for biotechnology. So these are the higher studies opportunities for which we prepare our students. But then the one problem that students face is that, sir, I do not know anything moving out of Chennai or moving out of India. I have not seen any place. How do I go about that? So during the course of your study, during the 4-year course of your study itself, what we do is we have an option of going for an internship or a semester abroad program. So this will be arranged by the higher studies. So for a 6 months period, which is called as a semester abroad program, or for a small internship of 2 weeks or 4 weeks, you will be going to a foreign university. So what this will facilitate is that you will get to know the nuances of how the country is, what is the culture that they follow, and will it be suitable for you to go and sustain over there. So you'll be getting a first-hand experience of what is there. And this will be from the university through a collaboration. Therefore, you need not worry about what will happen to you there. So we will be taking good care of you. So this will be arranged by the higher studies department separately. So this is how we support the students who are planning for their higher studies. If most of the students, when they say, no, sir, I'm not going in for higher studies, let me go for a job. So what are the placements opportunities that we have? So the placement starts right from your second year, right from your second year, or even from the first year itself. There will be placement training classes that will be conducted along with your academics. So this placement training classes will include all the normal training that is required for you to attend any sort of an interview, right? So everything will be covered in the placement training, and by the time you come for the final year, you will be ready for the placement. And some of the companies that take up our students are listed over here. We have Ziffo R&D Solutions, Pulses, Phytomed, Accenture, LifeCell, Kaplan Point, Cognizant, Infosys, Arene Life Sciences. Some of them are core companies, some of them are software companies, because most of the students, they come during the most of these companies, they come for placement during the month of September. Especially the software companies, many of our students, they tend to get into these software companies. And remember, during this COVID time, it was the software companies that had a life sciences division which flourished, like TCS, Infosys. They had a special life science division in their own. So they were able to make money even during this COVID scenario. So placement wise, we have a very good placement record of above 90% students will be placed every year. So that is one of the record that we still maintain year on year. And the training and everything will be carried out by the placement department. So we have a separate placement department. The training will be part of your 4-year program. So we have a small number of students who are neither going to go into higher studies nor getting into placements. They will be interested in entrepreneurship or startups. Sir, I want to be coming up with a small business of my own. I have a small idea. How do I go about with starting my own company? So I've just shown you one small company that we have inside the campus. We have a technology business incubator cell, TBI. So this is where all the technologies, all the ideas that brew in you will be incubated and will be promoted to become a startup. So this is a mushroom company. Again, Dr. Prakash is in charge of that. So you might ask him any question regarding the same. So if you have a small idea or a small innovative product which you want to say come up with and promote it as a startup, then the institute will be very happy to pre-incubate you, mentor you, and then even provides a small funding, a seed fund to start up with your business. So this is something that we do, and we ensure that your company comes out in flying colors. So all 3 areas that are mandatory or that provide the scope for biotechnology once a student completes the degree is satisfied by Satyabama. So in order to make the students effective or knowledgeable, we have these 6 academic laboratories: the basic science laboratories, the bioprocess labs, the tissue culture labs, the molecular biology labs. So all these laboratories will ensure that a student, when he goes out, will be learning the techniques and will be versatile with the techniques. So these are some of the academic laboratories that we have. Also, we have a specialized research laboratory, CBIRD, in which we have a plant biotechnology research facility. We have a molecular biology research facility. We have a transcriptomics research facility, transcriptomics being the next future of biotechnology. We have a specialized transcriptomics research facility. We also have a BSL-3 facility for HIV and TB. This is one of the centers that is associated with us, present in the research and R&D division of Satyabama. So they have a BSL-3 facility for HIV and TB. They are capable of working with HIV and TB. Of course, you'll be getting to know about this in due course. So that said, we have Illustrious Alumni. I'm able to show you only a few. Just to introduce Ms. Sahiti, who is doing a PhD in US, Mr. Shreyas, who owns a company in Hyderabad, and he also has another company in Tamil Nadu. So now he is the owner of 2 different companies. We have Mr. Gandhi Perumal, who is the founder of the Perfect Day ice cream, which is for ice cream which is made for pure vegetarians, not from human milk, but by synthetic milk. So this company is in US. So he's in US right now. Anyway, these are some of the illustrious alumni that we have. So wishing you be part of a journey towards creating more such wonderful people. So I hope you'll be interested in biotechnology. For any further questions regarding biotechnology or what are the scope and other things, feel free to come back to us. We'll be happy to answer. Thank you.
Sir, this is Samhita.
Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes.
I'm interested in biotechnology, but I have a little small doubt
Yeah,
that
please.
all these companies are software companies, and what is the will they recruit biotechnology students into the software companies?
Yes, obviously,
If
obviously, yes. See, today, that is what I'm telling you. TCS, Infosys, Cognizant, everybody, they will be having a separate life sciences division. Accenture even has a separate life sciences division. But straight away, you will not be put into the life sciences division. Initially, they will be putting you up in a programming division, just like all the programmers. Your basic programming skills will be honed, and once you are good, you are proving your excellence in basic programming, you will be put into the life science division, keeping in mind your biotechnology background. We have a
okay,
lot of
sir.
students who have in software industry.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Welcome.
So there is one more question in chat box.
Yeah, let me look into it. So how will we get admission for MSc biotechnology? So at present we have BTech in biotechnology, we have BSc in biotechnology, we have BSc in microbiology. We also have a MTech in biotechnology. MSc biotechnology is a course which we are planning to start in due course. Another year or two, we might be starting. Yeah, I hope I've answered that question, Swati.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. It was such a wonderful session. It will be really useful for students who want to choose biotechnology as their career. Next, I would like to call upon Dr. S. Satish to talk about opportunities in chemical engineering. Before he begins, let me give you a brief introduction about Dr. S. Satish, sir. Dr. S. Satish, ME, PhD, Head of the Department, Associate Professor, Department of Chemical Engineering, Satyabama Institute of Science and Technology. Dr. S. Satish, sir, Associate Professor in the Department of Chemical Engineering, has a blended experience in teaching and industrial experience. He worked in various fields of operation and safety in Manali Petrochemicals Limited, Chennai. He has joined as Assistant Professor in the Department of Chemical Engineering in 2011. He has published many research papers in reputed international journals. Under his guidance, scholars are currently doing their active research in the area of wastewater treatment and management. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Swati.
Thank you, sir.
To one and all present here, I please thanks to our organizers for this grand career guidance for the School of Bio and Chemical Engineering. Now I share the screen. Sir, please allow the permission to share, sir.
So you can share now.
Yes, sir. The screen has shared, sir.
It is coming on, so it is coming on.
So welcome you all for the Department of Chemical Engineering, Satyabama Institute of Science and Technology. So today is a rememberable day in our university. So founder chancellor anniversary day today. So Satyabama, you know that you are accredited in NBA, NAC, and AICT accreditations. And we are having NARF rankings and QS star rankings for the Satyabama Institute of Science and Technology. Now, what chemical engineering deals with? When you say chemical engineer, it's a blended learning of physical sciences, chemical sciences, and also when you say that it is a management safety processes. Sir, my screen is shared, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No, sir, it's not full screen yet.
Sir, go to slideshow, sir.
One minute, sir. 1 minute. Okay, sir. 1 minute, sir. Nice fully slideshow. Sir. Sorry for the interruptions.
Sir, we'll continue with biomedical and then sir will be joining, sir. Satesha.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir. Swati.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. I'd like to call upon Dr. T. Sudhakar, sir, to speak about opportunities in biomedical engineering. Before he starts his presentation, let me give you a brief introduction about him. Dr. T. Sudhakar, MSc, PhD, Head of the Department, Assistant Professor, Satyabama Institute of Science and Technology. Dr. T. Sudhakar, sir, has joined in the Satyabama Institute of Science and Technology in the year 2008. He has completed the doctorate degree in Satyabama Institute of Science and Technology in the year 2014. His thrust fields are microbiology, nanotechnology, biomaterials, and infectious diseases. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Ma. Sir, information. The screen is visible, sir. Ramesh, sir. Good
Yes,
evening,
sir.
one and all. I thank our management for giving me the opportunity to talk about the career opportunities on the next step for 2021. And I thank the organizer, Ramesh Kumar sir, Prakash sir, Alex sir, for giving me the opportunity to speak about the scope of biomedical engineering. So the engineering versus science. That is, the scientists have strived to create a new knowledge about how the work begins. Engineers work understand well science and mathematics and utilize them to solve problems for public and economic. You just see what is biomedical engineering. You can just see engineering practices. That is, engineering sciences plus biomedical science plus clinical practice is the biomedical engineering. Biomedical engineering, it has three fields. One is the life science, second one is the instrumentation, third one is the electronics. All these three clubbed together, it has been given as the biomedical engineering. That is engineering sciences plus biomedical sciences plus clinical practice. Engineering, biology with medicine. And what is the role of the biomedical engineer? The biomedical engineer, he designs and problem solving skill of engineering, medicine, and biological sciences. So it's a combination of your biology and instrumentation and electronics, which gives the solution for the medical problems. Next, what is the role of our biomedical engineers? Biomedical engineers design and construct devices to solve medical and health related problems. So, if you see about the COVID-19, the very important thing is the ventilator. This ventilator, which is going, it's a medical device which is going to be designed and constructed by the biomedical engineers. So, biomedical engineers, with help of the life science, electronic, and instrumentation, they'll be designing and constructing the devices, and these devices now it is in the miniature size. Miniature size means very small in size, which is used to solve the medical and health related problem. Each and everything, not only in the field of biotechnology, chemical, and in electronics, the role of biomedical engineer, he plays a very big role. In each and everything, the biomedical engineer role will be there. So we can just see the thrust areas of biomedical engineer. Before that, the basic things which is involved in the biomedical engineer is the medical problems, engineering techniques. So if there's going to be any medical problems, with the help of the engineering techniques, the biomedical engineers will analyze it and will give the solution for the medical and clinical problem. Okay. Next, we see, as Ramesh sir told about the thrust areas in biotechnology, here is the thrust areas for the biomedical engineering. Okay. So we'll be having bio-nanotechnology, biomaterials, bioinformatics, medical imaging and biooptics, rehabilitation engineering, cell and tissue engineering, bioinstrumentation, drug delivery, genetic engineering, biosensors and electronics, neural engineering. So this is a combination of life science, electronics, and instrumentation.
And now,
So next, the main fields of biomedical engineering is going to be the instrumentation, biomaterials, physiology, bioprocessing, imaging, biomechanics. So you may wonder what all this, you may know, if a biomedical engineer is there, he must know the basic about the physiology, human anatomy and physiology. Next one, because for example, if without knowing the basics of the anatomy and physiology, he cannot give an implant or he cannot give an instrumentation setup. Okay, and this, by knowing this human anatomy and physiology, he can go for imaging inside of what the body is going to be having any problem. So the duty of the biomedical engineers, designing a medical instrument, contribute in the development, manufacturing, and testing of medical products, maintain and enhance life of medical instrument, designing the processes, designing the replacement parts of the people for the people, creating system to allow the handicap to work, function, and communicate, managing the technology in the hospital system. So these are the duties of the biomedical engineers. So he'll be designing the medical instrument, and after designing, he helps in the development, manufacturing, and testing of the medical products. It maintains the enhance the life of the medical instrument, designing the processes, okay, and replacement of the parts of for the people if there's going to be any accident, they lost it, and they make the handicapped people to walk and take. If the hand is going to be missed in the any accident, it can be replaced and it can function and work and communicate. Managing the technology in the hospital system, telemedicine. So what are job opportunities is going to have in the government? private, and research and development. Okay, if you just see, the people have, he serves as a service engineer, research and development, quality assurance, marketing, information technology in the hospital management. And if you go for the job opportunities in the government, you go for healthcare, government hospital, state agencies, and defense hospital. Then biomedical engineer in the manufacturing, medical informatics, rehabilitation engineering, marketing, image analyst, safety analyst, sales and service, instrumentation, product validation engineer, medical coding, system physiological engineer, and clinical engineer. And these are the various fields already which I told it. Next, in our department, we speak what is I'm going to highlight about the biomedical in Satyabama University. We have signed with the MNC companies also. It is associated, that is our department is associated with the MNC company for the training as well as for the placement. So the well-known MNC company is going to be the GE Healthcare, General Electronics Healthcare, BioVision, Saraja Biopharma, and our department is even tied with the Satyabama Hospital and Dental College. Laboratory facilities in biomedical department, we have bioscience lab, that is life science lab, electronics lab, electronic devices and medical electronics lab, biosensors and transducers lab, microprocessor lab, biomedical instrumentation lab, and biocomputing lab. So what does the bioscience it includes? The bioscience it includes microbiology and biochemistry lab, immunology and pathology lab, human anatomy and physiology lab. Because the first and foremost thing the biomedical engineer they must understand is that about the life science, the basic life science. Or what is microbiology, what are microorganisms, biochemistry lab, reactions, immunology and pathology lab, and very important lab for them is the human anatomy and physiology, because they're going to deal with the humans. Then this is our bioscience lab. This is our bioscience lab. We have all the high funda instruments and sophisticated instruments for the life science. Then we have electron devices lab, medical electronic labs. This is our medical electronics and electronics lab, microprocessor lab. This is the bioinstrumentation lab, the very important lab for the biomedical engineers. They have the diagnostic instrumentation lab and therapeutic instrumentation lab for diagnosing with help of the various anesthesia machine, and we having ultrasound, all those things that are going to diagnose it, and based upon that, they're going to give the therapy. This is a biomedical instrumentation lab. And biomedical instrumentation lab, it compromises the diagnostic as a therapeutic one, and the live demo of the therapeutic instruments like heart-lung machine, hemodialysis, ventilators, pacemakers also performed in the laboratory. The facilities provided in the lab modules, the students face a biomedical world. And we have a medical signal processing lab. This is a biocomputing lab. And these are the placements for the students with Johnson & Johnson's, Abu Dhabi International Medical Services, G4 Technologies, Sonograph, HCL, Capgemini, and Pulses Healthcare. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It was such an incredible session. It will be really an eye-opener to students who want to pursue biomedical engineering. Next, I would like to call upon Dr. Satish, sir, to talk about opportunities in chemical engineering. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Ma. So, welcome you all, and sorry for the inconvenience which caused us earlier. So, when you say Satyabama, today we are having a remarkable day, an unforgettable day, that our founder chancellor's anniversary day. So, Satyabama, next slide, sir. Satyabama, you know that we are NBA accredited, NAC accredited, and we are having a Satyabama in the quality rankings worldwide. Ramesh, sir. So the institution's positioned 39th rank in NIRF and top 50 universities for the 5 consecutive years. And you know that Satyabama is ranked top 5 institutions in ACCED ranking for the Institution of Innovation Achievements by Government of India. In the Times Higher Education ranking, we are in the top 401 plus, that is top 500 universities in Asia university ranking. And QS has ranked Satyabama among the top institutions worldwide for the best teaching and learning mechanisms. By these rankings, you know the quality standards which we are followed in Satyabama. So when you say chemical engineering is a branch which deals with physical sciences, chemistry, physics, and also the life sciences, biology, microbiology, and biochemistry, together with mathematics and economics, transport properties of materials, chemicals, and energy. So when you say chemical engineering is a mother that deals with all the branches. So next slide, sir. So why we have to take the chemical engineering? So when you say chemical engineering is the technical knowledge of chemistry, biochemistry, material sciences, and also information technology. So when you complete chemical engineer, you should be a part of a large scale commercial industries, or you may choose as a scientific researcher or a field engineer or in a senior management position in the design. So next slide. So next one. So chemical engineers are highly employable, either from the large sectors to the small scale industries. When you say refineries, pharmaceuticals, fertilizers, and also a blending textile processing, biomineral processing, ore extractions, thermal power plants. So starting from the large sectors to small sectors, chemical engineers are highly employable. So they are the best paying professions. So next slide. So when you say complete chemical engineers, you may call it as a technical service engineer or chief executive engineers. So based upon the selection of your sectors or the pathways based on the scientific research, or it may be industries, or it may be a research and development, or you want to go for higher studies or entrepreneurs, based on the selection of your path, you are called as a various titles starting from chief executive officers to the field engineers or researchers or scientists. So next slide. So when you do a chemical engineers, you will having a multiple task. That is, either you can select the path which you are traveling. Either you are going for a chemical process industries, for a panel engineer, or a field engineer, or a quality control persons, or you can go for a design and constructions. So when you are construct a new plant, you design your plant and erectioning, commissioning, that will be a path. Or it may be energy or fuels, that is thermal power plants, nuclear power plants, environmental and safety auditors, health auditors, food and food processing industries, and pharmaceutical industries. So the path based on your selection, you can choose the industries. The next. So job opportunities in India, that India is having a rapid growth in industrialization, and due to that rapid growth in industrialization, soon we are having a chemicals opening in the SSR, IUs, Reliance, SPIC, Orchid Chemicals, Ranbaxy, Sun Pharmaceuticals, and the list goes on based on the number of industries. And now the chemical industries growth rate is enormous, and 13% growth in chemical industries leads to more job opportunities in chemical engineering. And also, you are having in the public sector opportunities, that is IOCL, BPCL, based on the GATE examinations. When you clear the GATE examinations, and you can go for the public sector operations, ONGC, CPCLs. So also you can go for a government-related jobs, that pollution control board, inspector of factories, that group 2 exams, that will cover chemical engineers and are placed in a government sectors also. So next. So our chemical engineering department will having a various infrastructures with a vast facilities for doing an enormous practical language. It's a blended language. We are having chemical reaction lab, mass transfer lab, mechanical operation lab, heat transfer lab, and simulation lab. We are having process simulation by ChemCAT, MATLabs, everything we are having in the chemical facilities that create a blended learning in the field of practical experiences. Next, sir. So when we see, as Ramesh has pointed out, the students related activities, counseling, better career guidance, starting from the day 1 to the graduation day, a counseling will be provided by the mentors. And the career development programs incorporating a skill language, aptitude learning, multi-linguistics, and for that we are having an advisory bureaus for higher studies. The Dean Higher Studies and the staff which belongs to advisory bureau will guide you and place you in the higher educations. And we are having a computer courses, skill development programs, and personality development programs. And other than that, we are having a club activities. Each department will have a clubs based on your interest. We are molding your skill developments and also societal services, NCCs and NSS. Next. So when you say the strength of the chemical department, so chemical department will have a well qualified and dedicated faculties with their having a technical knowledge in teaching, academics, research, and also in industries, infrastructures, dynamic curriculums, continuous improvement in research, and conducting a regular events, guest lectures on the current issues with the experts in the field of academics and also industries. And this is a point out that chemical engineering department will have a memorandum of understanding with various industries like CLRI, CSIR, educational institutions, and foreign institutions for students abroad program. Next. So for any details which regarding your career guidance, please contact. I am Dr. Satish, head of the Department of Chemical Engineering. My email ID is there and contact number is there. For any career guidance needed and the doubts in the chemical engineering sector, you're ready to contact me. Thank you for the opportunities given. Thank you for the organizers and also the participants. Thank you all. And we will see you in our university. Hope so. We will see you in the university soon. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for an excellent session. It will be really helpful for students who want to choose chemical engineering as a career. I'd like to invite Dr. Daniel Alexander, sir, to present about opportunities in the field of bioinformatics. I'd like to give you a brief introduction about Dr. Daniel Alexander, sir. Dr. Daniel Alexander, MSc, PhD, Associate Professor, Department of Bioinformatics, Satyabama Institute of Science and Technology. Dr. Daniel Alexander, sir, joined in the Satyabama Institute of Science and Technology in the year 2007. He had completed his PhD in the molecular genetics from Dr. ALM PG Institute of Basic Medical Sciences, University of Madras, Chennai. His expertise in the field of HIV, genomics, gene regulation, bioinformatics and computational biology, regulation of gene expression, differential gene expression, human genetics, single nucleotide polymorphism, NGS data analysis, and mathematical modeling. I hand over the session to you, sir.
Thank you, Swati. Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you, sir. Good evening, all of you. At the outset, I would like to wholeheartedly thank the management of Satyabama Institute of Science and Technology for giving me this opportunity to serve through this great institution for the last more than a decade. And also, I would like to very specially thank the organizers for this chance, Dr. Wilson Aruni, for Vice Chancellor, Dr. Ramesh Kumar sir, Head of the Department of Biotechnology, Dr. Prakash, and all the others for giving me this opportunity. So the next few minutes, I would like to enlighten you about what bioinformatics is about first, and then I would like to talk a little bit about our department at Satyabama and what we have been doing for the last many years, and also about how our students have been faring in this field of bioinformatics and what is the actual field of bioinformatics, what is the future of this. I would like to tell you a few things. I've got quite a few slides, so probably I would run through. So if you want these slides again, I would definitely share it with you. So I work in this department called the Department of Bioinformatics and the Center for Molecular Data Science and Systems Biology. Biology is beginnings. So I believe all of us who are biologists know that this is probably one of those great sciences which had a lot of movement and a lot of pioneering work done by its great giants. And one of those persons was Gregor Mendel. So 1860s, And towards the late part of 1800s, he was working with his pea plants. I'm sure all of us remember that. Mendel was actually an Austrian monk who was doing a lot of hard work. And the point I would like to push here is that biology started as an observational science. So Mendel was observing his pea plants, he was noting down. So he's literally working not with 3 and 1 plant. There's actually not 3:1 ratio, it's 2.6:1, but he was working with 20,000 plants. So much of hard work Mendel was putting in. So I would quickly move on here. It was what began as an observational science has now is changing into something else. Paradigm is a beautiful English word which means viewpoint. So what is the shift in paradigm? What are we talking about here? Biology has now moved on from an observational science to a predictive science. We've got a lot of data by which we can do a lot of predictive analysis, and this is biology at its maximum precision. This is biology at a totally different standpoint. So how has this come about? How has all this revolution come about? I would like to quickly run through some of those major things which have happened. This is basically a timeline which shows how things worked from Darwin. If you see here, till about 1990s, that's called, you could call it the pre-genomic era. And from 1990 onwards, we call it the we call it the genomic era. And then from 2003 or after that, we call it the post-genomic era, pre-genomic and the post-genomic era. So there have been a lot of great advancements which have been happening in this field during these years. One of the most important things which happened was this. I'm sure all of us know this, right? It's basically a nucleic acid amplification technique called polymerase chain reaction. Kary Mullis was the person who went on to invent this. He had a patent on this, and a lot of people think biology is not a career with a lot of money. I think you should rethink that. Look at this. I don't know how much rupees this is about. Cetus Corporation, for which Kary Mullis was working, sold this patent to Hoffman La Roche and the pharma company for $300 million US. Yeah, I don't know how much that's in Indian rupees. So this is the greatness of a genius, probably a person who would do repetitive tasks. So this was Kary Mullis. Towards the start of 1990, it was 1990 to 2003, around 15 countries in the world took part in a very huge project called the Human Genome Project. And the goal of the project was to sequence all the nucleotide bases, the order of bases from chromosome 1 first base to the last chromosome Y last base. Okay, so they did this great work, amazing work, and it was called the Human Genome Project. And this is actually the then US President Bill Clinton, who is telling the world that this is what we've done right now is greater than man landing on the moon. So on either side of him is Francis Collins and Craig Venter, who were part of the government and the private agency, which went on to direct this entire project. Okay? So billions of dollars were spent and 15 countries were involved, and we had the complete human genome in hand. The question in everybody's mind was, so what? We got books numbering 1 to 22 X and Y with all the nucleotides in the human genome. So then what do we do with that? It was a great academic project. Yeah. So post human genome, we had a lot of major projects which were started off by countries throughout the world. And these are some of those projects: the HapMap project, the GWAS project. Many other projects were actually started off. And because of that, we have made a lot of progress. Okay? And it was very later, Barack Obama, the US president, he was then telling that how much revenue can $1 which is invested in the human genome can produce now. It can revert back to $140 to the economy. Every single dollar spent can actually make so much of revenue. Okay? So currently, there is so much of emphasis given to sequencing technologies, not alone for the human genome, but also for every other plant, animal, microbial genomes. So the genome really produces. Someone told us recently, I was in a meeting in IIT Madras, someone told us unemployability is the problem. It's not unemployment. are we employable? Are our students employable? Are we competent enough? Okay? Do we update ourselves? That is a real problem. Okay? And there were times, I remember when I was studying in school, one of an engineer, a friend, he told me that our education system makes us blinkers. If you know maths, you won't know biology. If you know biology, you won't know computer science, right? If you know statistics, you'll be allergic to something else. So, but gone are those days. So we are now in an era where interdisciplinary is the word. So we are to merge disciplines. We are to understand not alone one single discipline, but we need to learn many disciplines to make ourselves competent in this environment. The world we are living is very, very fast advancing at a very, very fast pace. Interdisciplinary fields are here to stay. And tied to that is the technologies which we have got for learning. A student can never say that my professor didn't take a class. That's a useless excuse, I would say. So we've got so many opportunities to learn things online. Right? So currently all of the learning has gone online. So we've got so many different ways by which we could learn, and times have really changed. There are lots of efforts from the Indian government across the world. An engineering student can actually look into a professor teaching at MIT in the US. That's the top one of the top institutes. So you could actually learn. So the current student has so many opportunities to learn. And also the Indian government last year, they went on to approve dual degrees. I'm sure you would have heard of that. So coming on to what I'm trying to tell you now about bioinformatics and computational biology, we need to understand that computer is just a tool. We are still learning biology. Okay? So there's basically a word by a few Nobel laureates who said that today the computer is just as an important tool for the chemist as the test tube. Okay? So it is just a tool. So we need to keep it at that, but we are still doing biology. I'm a core biologist. Okay? I've been trained in medical microbiology. I do have a degree in faculty of medicine. So what is computational biology, and why are we doing this? So we are trying to understand how computers think. Okay? So if you would ask a computer science student, these are actually called the 4 pillars of computational thinking: pattern recognition, algorithm design, decomposition, and abstraction. We are trying to put biological problems to the computer. We understand it first, and then we put it to the computer, and we look at life, cell, complexity, disease, pathogenesis, everything through the eyes of a computer. That's exactly what we do. So we do computational biology at 3 different levels. We do at sequence level, we can do at structure level, we can do it at systems level, okay, at the level of interactions of molecular entities. So this is like finding patterns in a random message. You know, that's exactly what we do when you do with sequence analysis. A lot of importance is given, even in the age of Corona these days. A lot of emphasis is given these days to set up genome sequencing centers. Tamil Nadu government is taking up, the Delhi government is taking up, Indian government is really taking up a lot of work. So we are trying to get a lot of understanding about how to sequence and how do you interpret, how do you understand patterns from this data. Okay? So it's looking at, it's like finding hidden message in a problem. We do have a lot of overlapping fields. Computational biology is called by different names. Bioinformatics, we call it systems biology. An extension of that is synthetic biology. So a lot of things have come up. So across the years, you would see a lot of progress being made, a lot of evolution here. So what started with genomics, then went on to transcriptomics, proteomics, interactomics, metabolomics. Now we bring all of this together and we call it systems biology and systems medicine. Okay? We try to look at things from a very, very complex perspective. Living systems, causation of diseases are very, very complex. So what we've been doing till now is this. We've been trying to we have been acting like blind men who were trying to touch different parts of the elephant and to tell that this was that, this was that. No, we've still not got the full picture. We've not got the big picture. That's exactly what bioinformatics and data science tries to do. So to put very simply, bioinformatics is an interdisciplinary field in biology and medicine, and which is at its maximum precision. You can't get preciser than this. Okay? And it is also a field which involves studies in a lot of different areas: computer science, chemistry, biology, statistics, mathematics, engineering. All of these things you would learn. Okay? So that gives you a great plus of becoming developing your domain skills in different domains. Okay, you'll be having different domain knowledge. So if an employer would come and see, you would not alone know biology, you would know programming, you would know mathematics, you would know statistics, you would know chemistry. Okay, so that all of that you would touch upon. Then you specialize in your master's, in your PhD. So that's how things go on. Okay, it's basically interdisciplinary. This is actually a beautiful word by a former professor at CMC Vellore. This actually came up a few months back. It was March 2020. So she said the vaccine was rapidly synthesized as novel coronavirus sequence was available. So the sequence is fundamental for any study. What takes probably years together in a wet lab, in an experimental biology lab, takes probably a few days in a computational biology lab. Okay? So it is that precise. We really save a lot of expenditure for the biotechnology. That's exactly what we do when we use computers. This is something I took today. This is from June 3rd, 2021. And this was Kejriwal telling how they're going to set up. So what is the importance of gene sequencing and why are we doing this? Why are we really struggling? We don't really understand what variants are, right? So we're really so scared about coronavirus variants. So how do you know that it's a variant? You have to look at sequence variations. You have to look at amino acid variations. Okay? So it's that only when you go that precise, you would know that this is a Brazilian variant. This is a UK variant. So that's exactly what we do. So all of these are names which we commonly see. So we got alpha, beta, gamma, delta, epsilon, zeta. So you got that, and also you have symbolic notations for. So we do have a lot of importance given to, and right now we understand that basic sciences is so important, right? So when we don't have a vaccine, we don't have a drug for corona, that's when everyone wants to do research in biology, right? Every microbiology field gets filled these days. So this is actually another beautiful this website. You should probably check it out. It's called GSAID, and they have an amazing website where they do a real-time tracking of how coronavirus is spreading. Okay, so every strain which is isolated and sequenced is actually cataloged and brought to this website, and throughout the globe you can actually see this. Is actually I've tried to put a big picture in the small fragments here, but then you can actually simulate this and see how it started in Wuhan and how it has progressed and where are we going. So it is really beautiful to understand, though a lot of things are happening, a lot of sad things are happening, but from the science point of view, we are learning a lot of things. We have been doing a lot of science, but then how have we contributed? How has this science reached the common man? That is where we are really lacking. So that is where bioinformatics comes in. We really take it from the bench side to the bedside. Okay, we do a lot of work in the laboratory benches, but when you take it to the bedside of the patient to make it meaningful to the common man. There have been a lot of scientists who've been burning their midnight oil across the world to work on the proteins of coronavirus. You would actually find this on. So we do have a lot of databases which you'll be taught when you come into bioinformatics. So you name a disease, you got a database. Okay, so you got umpteen number of protein databases where you could study proteins. I'm sure all of you have learned about the spike protein. What is a spike protein? What is really happening? Why are the variants really causing us so much of trouble? Why don't we have a vaccine for HIV yet? Okay, we were really boasting. The secretary who was responsible in the US told 2 years after HIV's onset, she told, in 2 years we'll get a vaccine. It is 23 years now. We still don't have a vaccine. What is really happening? Okay, so we need to work at proteins. We need to work a lot more sincerely, diligently. So a lot of work has been done, especially in coronavirus. And when it comes to the data science part, okay, so this is amazing. So you do have a lot of data which is being dumped in public repositories and databases. And this is actually a machine learning database called Kaggle. You should probably check out. A lot of competition students are going on, and you do have a lot of tutorials online on the YouTube where you could learn how to take a data set from Kaggle and work. You could do a lot of epidemiology study. Recently, I was doing a hands-on using R, and how do you use R to analyze a data set in Kaggle, a COVID data set. Okay, so you could do small work. You could just refer. So there are a lot of things you could learn as a student, and a lot of opportunities are there to improve in this area of data science. Okay? So there have been a lot of competitions which have been conducted. I think you can probably check this out. Just look at Kaggle alone and look at things like CORD 19. You would learn. I'm just moving on because of lack of time. DataCamp is another beautiful repository, and it's got about 300 different courses, and we try to actually teach this to our students. We do equip ourselves and a lot of genomic data analytics are there in the public repositories and public training resources like DataCamp. Why are we doing all this? Where are we going? We're looking at a period in time. We're looking ahead at what we call the P4 medicine. Okay, so soon we will have a time when you go to a hospital, they would take 1 ml of blood from you, and they would get the complete history of all of those diseases which you've gone through, all of those diseases which you would be predisposed to, which you probably might get sometime in life. Okay, so a lot of importance is given to predictive medicine, preventive medicine, participatory medicine when the patient takes part, and the medicine is going to be personalized. Okay, all that we've been doing currently, evidence-based medicine has been generic treatments. Okay, we're going to move from all that, and we're going to be very personal in treating every single patient. The key lies in mathematics and data science. Okay, we are looking at very specific dosage to patients, very specific combination of drugs to patients. It's like what we do in heart therapy in HIV patients. So we're looking at an era where we really want so many people. Like we really do not have people in data science. Literally 30 to only 40% of the data science jobs really do have qualified people even. Okay? And we really want a lot of people to come inside to work with developing precision medicine. And big data is everywhere. It is not alone there in WhatsApp and Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. It is there, especially in astronomy and in genomics. Genomics is really going to beat astronomy, which is one of the major big data generators in the world. So how do you make big data? How do you make sense of big data? That's exactly what we learned. Cancer is a disease of the genome. We could work on nanomaterials, a lot of things to suppress the size of a tumor, but ultimately tumors would rise up in every other place because it is basically a problem with the genome. Okay, so how do you work? How do you go about? We do have a lot of scholarships, especially in Satyabama. We do have a lot of scholarships when you come in. Depending on your performance, we do have a lot of scholarships for students who are eligible and who really require. And I would like to give you some examples of some of our own students who did very well. This is Priyanka Maripur, who worked with us, who studied with us from 2013 to 17. Like she was a student in the first year. She published a paper. This published in BMC Infectious Diseases. She went to CCMB. She was a diet emeritus for 2 years. She went to Canada for a completely paid master's degree. She didn't pay one pice, but she had a scholarship of that sort. And she's now going for a second master's degree in genetic counseling at the US. So we do have a lot of opportunities. This is the paper which is published. So we do have a lot of opportunities for a student. In the first year, she published that. Can you believe that? So we do have a lot of opportunities in research, especially, and also in hospitals. Okay? And this is one of our biotechnology students, Ramesh sir knows. He was Ramesh's student, Piyush Banu, who went to the US. He did his BTech in biotechnology. He went to the UK, did his master's. He's come back. He's now got his own company called Zoom Life Sciences at Bangalore Bioinnovation Center in Bangalore. And he does a lot of work in biotechnology as well as the bioinformatics. Okay? We do a lot of consultancy. We do help him. We help him through our technology business incubator. We provided him a space and we've got an MOU signed with him. So a lot of encouragement is given for student startups. That's Piyush Manu. You could check him out on LinkedIn, or you could check out Zoom Life Sciences. This is Hannah Perpetua, who moved from bioinformatics to biotechnology. She's a senior scientist right now at a very, very important company in the US. Okay? So you could also move to other areas. That's again, I'm the plus with studying bioinformatics. This is one of our own students, Deepak Thomas Philip. He went to the UK to pursue his master's in forensic science. He comes back, he does another course in cyber security, and he works with Infosys now. Okay, so you do have a lot of areas where you can get inside. This is one of my own colleagues who was actually a medical doctor who moved into, he became a civil services, he cleared civil services. He was actually with Kejriwal for a long time, and he's now gone to Johns Hopkins to study public health. He's gone to study DPH at Johns Hopkins. You have a lot of opportunities for a biologist in such areas too. This is one of our own collaborators. We do have MOUs signed with all of these people in Shankanethralaya and NIE with whom we work, ICMR. So these are all core people who work with bioinformatics, and they are occupying a lot of high positions. They were just science graduates, but then there's so much of need. The government is understood, and we do have a lot of opportunities. And you could check out Umar Shankar, who recently joined the ICMR, and he was initially with Shankanethralaya doing amazing work in a department in mathematics. This is an amazing person called Einstein, with whom again we have an MOU. Our department has, he's one phenomenon. He was basically a mechanical and production graduate, who was from a Tamil medium. Like people look down upon a student who does not even know speak English, right? But then he comes to Chennai, he finishes an ME, goes to US, he specializes in automobile engineering, comes back to India, he starts a company called INEXT Biosciences and INL Technology. This is basically a mechanical engineering company, but you know what? He's moved over into biosciences. He works with biomedical engineering. He's recruited some of our own students, and he also helps us in. We do a lot of work with protein modeling and docking, etc., with his own stuff. Like, how do you move like that? That's really so hard to understand. You could probably check out Albert Einstein. His company is now a 10 crore company. He's 5 years younger to me. Like, that's the power of having a startup. There's one of our own biomedical engineering students. I'm also involved. I was involved in the biomedical engineering department. He was basically a BTech biomedical engineering graduate who now travels with the Indian hockey team as a hockey analyst. Like that's amazing data science job. They travel with a few cameras. They look into the performance of a team, a player, and look at a specific against an opponent, things like that. And they do amazing work. Aditya Chakravarti, you can check him out. He was with the Indian hockey team who traveled to Rio. So we do have a lot of opportunities for a bioinformatics graduate in R&D, in administrative services, in the IT industry, in management jobs. We have some of our own students who went to Oxford, Imperial College, London, to do a master's in management after a BTech in bioinformatics. Okay, and we can avail a lot of foreign scholarships are available, a lot of startup policies. Government of India has brought up the NIST policy now, so which encourages students and faculty in universities to have their own startups. That's a very major move by the Government of India. This is some of our own labs in our department at Satyabama. So we do have a lot of good infrastructure, very high-powered servers, well-structured laboratories, very spacious laboratories we do have. So this is one of our labs. We do have a lab specialized for research work, which is there inside the cabin. So we do have a lot of opportunities to do quality work, quality study, as well as quality research. So there've been a lot of our own students who went abroad for higher study. These are some of them. You could probably check them out on my LinkedIn. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. You would find a lot of all of these people. So you have hundreds of students across the 20 years who have actually studied here, who've gone abroad, and who are in very good positions across the world. There's some of, again, one of our illustrious alumni. Philippen Sekran was not a topper in class. He was a normal student, but he understood. He was telling me sometime back that when he went for an interview at EMBL is one of the biggest names in bioinformatics and Germany. He said, "Sir, my 4 years of BTech was considered an experience. Like there are not too many people who are qualified in bioinformatics. So his BTech was taken as the experience while he went for a job. He got his PhD from Max Planck, one of the biggest names. Jennifer Emmanuel Charpentier and Jennifer Doudna got. It was they represented UC Berkeley and Max Planck. He was Philippen Sekran was from Max Planck. He got a PhD from Max Planck. It gives us great contentment to tell that our students are throughout the world, in Europe and US, they're doing really well. We spoke to our own students during the last lockdown. So we do have BSc and MSc programs currently, and this is actually a department which was founded by our founder chancellor, Colonel Dr. JPR, with a great vision 20 years back. We are looking at a department which is 20 years old. That is the legacy of the Department of Bioinformatics. Currently, we do have 2 courses, BSc and MSc programs in bioinformatics and data science. You could check it out on the website. Okay, and this is actually the details of it. And you could look at, you could apply online. If you have any difficulties, you could let us know. Algorithms, yeah. So I'm going to finish off. I'm going to wind up. I'm sorry for this time. So we're going to we look at a lot of pertinent problems. Okay, so the core of the entire study is looking at algorithms. Okay, and being a biologist, I do find it so fascinating. Like how computers work, how computers think. How do we educate computers? This is basically taken from a book to authorities in this area. You could probably check this book. It is called Bioinformatics and Integrated Learning. Of course, we also have a beautiful YouTube channel, so where they talk about a lot of very pertinent questions. Which animal gave us SARS? How did yeast become a winemaker? Why have biologists still not developed an HIV vaccine? These are in a computer science book, basically an algorithm book, which talks about these problems. Okay, so that much of interdisciplinary is what is there. And these are some of the areas where our students go for places where some of our students go for internships. So we do have Institute of Mathematical Sciences, where computational biology is one big area. Here, it's one of its kind in the whole of India. We don't have anywhere else. Only in Chennai we have this, and a place where they do PhD and postdoc is computational biology, and a couple of our students have gone there for internships. And IIT Madras Department of Biotechnology and Karthik Raman, who's into computational biology, systems biology. So we do work with them. Many of our students have been there as interns. They have done their projects there, and they are abroad now. Okay, we do work closely with them also. So we do have. Why should you have? I'm trying to wrap up for the complete session. So why should you choose a career in mathematics or biosciences or bioengineering? A lot of great market is available in the world as well as in India. Okay? So probably, as Dr. Ramesh was telling, the projected market is very, very high. He told Sir told in euros. I'm telling in US dollars at 2,700 billion US dollars at the end of 2025. That's supposed to be when President Donald Trump came here. He's constantly mentioning healthcare. So there's a lot of emphasis given to the healthcare industry. So there are a lot of places where a bioinformatics and a data science specialist can go and work. You could become a researcher, you could become an analyst, you could become a developer, a database curator, a gene analyst, a protein analyst, a phylogenetics, evolutionary biologist, database programmer, software developer, computational biologist, network administrator, structural analyst, molecular modeler, statistician, database programmer, a lot of things. This list goes on and on. Okay? And this is a beautiful slide I got. And this is the kind of money you get in genomics. You know, India pays roughly around, this comes to today's pound value is 1 or 2 rupees. So this is somewhere around 10 lakhs per annum. Okay, that's the average annual income here in India. Okay, but you look at the world, it really is enormous. Okay, so this is for genomics alone. I've not manipulated this slide in any way. It is just pure genomics alone, not even for data science. Okay? And we do have a lot of great importance given to bioinformatics data science. A lot of major recruiters in this area you can see on the screen, and there are a lot of startups coming up in the area of genomics and systems biology. And these are some of the major recruiters. This is actually for not only for bioinformatics, even for biomedical engineering and for biotechnology. You would find a lot of these common recruiters. Okay? I do have I have compiled a lot of companies. If you want, you could definitely write to me. I would share this with you. I'm just running because of the lack of time. So all of these are companies where you do bioinformatics in a biotechnology company. There's bioinformatics in a clinical research company. So many are there. Only a few have taken bioinformatics in the food industry, bioinformatics in genetic engineering, bioinformatics in plant agrobiotech, bioinformatics in environmental biotechnology, bioinformatics in the pharma industry. Again, pharma. There's one of our own students who told why a bio student should not get into IT. No, like he was actually telling us how much of opportunities is there in Europe, in the Western world, especially. India is really picking up. We are really picking up, and in India, Chennai is picking up now. Hyderabad and Bangalore are really picked up. They've really picked up. A lot of companies are there. You could go do a research on Google, and you would definitely find a lot of companies. I'm going to finish off. This is actually a word by a person who got the Turing Award. Turing Award is given to a very high caliber computational scientist. So he said, I can't be as confident about computer science as I can be about biology. Biology easily has 500 years of exciting problems to work on. It's at that level. Okay? So biology, we are the ones who supply problems. Beat anyone, we're the ones who have so much problems. Coronavirus, a 30 kb virus has given enormous problems. We've closed down governments. Everything has come to a shrieking halt. So we need a lot of people to work on these areas. I would like to finish off with one small illustration of one person. I think it would really encourage all of us as students and all of you as students too. This is one of my friends on Facebook. His name is Benny Prasad. At 10th standard, he was actually asked to withdraw from school. The teachers called his parent and told, take him out because we don't want a first failure. This was actually a Kendriya Vidyalaya school at HAL in Bangalore, because he was not faring well. And Benny was actually so disappointed. He attempted suicide at that age, the age of 16. Currently, Benny is on the Guinness Book of World Records for having been the most traveled man on earth in the fastest possible time. He's traveled to all the countries of the world in the quickest possible time. And he's a musician, and he's called to play in parliaments in universities. He was actually called to play in the opening ceremony of the Olympic Games at Athens in Greece. And I was listening to him talking at MCC a few years back. He said this. He said he has got arthritic fingers. Like he has a lot of problems with his joints. He said for a 20-minute performance at Athens, he practiced 168 hours a week. Do you know the connection between 160 hours and a week? It's 24 into 7. He said he practiced for 1 full week without resting for 1 hour, 1 minute. So he said there's no shortcut to success. I think any field you choose, I believe if you work hard, God will help you and you will definitely shine. Okay, we are there to help you out. Talk to us. You can email us. You can email the organizers, Dr. Prakash. You can email me, and we are there to help you out. Thank you very much for your listening.
Thank you, sir. It was such an amazing session about opportunities in bioinformatics. You have given a clear vision about bioinformatics. Thank you, sir. And participants can join the WhatsApp and the Telegram group through the link given in the chat box. Our dignitaries will be delighted to answer. And this session's YouTube link is also given in the chat box, so you can watch it anytime. I'm glad to call upon Ms. Sabita to give vote of thanks.
Good evening to all. I am Sabita here to present vote of thanks. So now we have reached the end of today's webinar on Next Step 2020, a career guidance for bio and chemical sciences. Today, I take opportunity to put my gratitude into words. On behalf of management, I would like to extend my heartiest thanks to our honorable speakers, Dr. V. Ramesh Kumar sir, Dr. Daniel Alexander sir, Dr. S. Satish sir, and Dr. T. Sudhakar sir for present in this webinar. Thank you, sir, for enlightening us with your words and explaining the opportunity in biotechnology, biomedical, bioinformatics, and chemical engineering. Sure, this is an eye-opening for a student. Indeed, your words have inspired the students. Wholeheartedly, I must thank our patrons of Satyabama University for giving us this opportunity. Chancellor Dr. Maria Zina Johnson, ma'am, President Dr. Mary Johnson, sir, Vice President Ms. Maria Bernadette Tamilarisi Johnson, ma'am, Vice Chancellor Dr. T. Sasiprabha, ma'am, and also I extend my gratitude to Pro Vice Chancellor Dr. Wilson Aruni, sir, for giving the support to make this webinar more successful, and my heartfelt thanks to a head of various departments, Dr. V. Ramesh Kumar, sir, HOD of Department of Biotechnology, Dr. T. Sudhakar, sir, HOD of Department of Biomedical Engineering, Dr. S. Satish, sir, HOD of Chemical Engineering, Dr. Jamie Christie, ma'am, HOD of Department of Bioinformatics. I must thank Dr. P. Prakash sir for support and organizing this webinar. Last but not least, I must thank all the staff and the students who are present here. Once again, I thank one and all present here.
Thank you all. I hope you join the WhatsApp group and Telegram to get your questions answered. So with that, I think Prakash sir, we can wind up the session.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can wind up the session. Thank you.
Thank you.